Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Apel. I'm a hand surgeon and a member of the ASSH from Roanoke, Virginia, and I'm going to tell about the mission trip that we do to Guatemala, how it came about, and some of the cases that we did in 2024. So how this trip began actually starts at the 2019 ASSH meeting. I was being inducted as a new member, and we went to the new members, senior members luncheon, and I got seated next to Ted Peters from Dallas, who's pictured here in the center on the right. And Ted said, "Hey, I do this mission down in Guatemala, and you should come down." So that spring, in the spring of 2020, I did, and that was my first time going to Guatemala, and we went with Ted Peters that year. That's me and Ted this year in the light blue and dark blue scrub tops with two other members of our team. The trip is organized with a group called Faith and Practice, and the center location for the mission is in Antigua, Guatemala, which is about a 2-hour bus ride outside of Guatemala City. Patients are seen in village clinics by local volunteers and by the in-country organization. And if they have a hand problem that they think might be able to help with surgery, they're sent to see us the week that we arrive. So here's a case that we took care of this year. This is a 50-year-old woman who had a humeral shaft fracture. It was treated non-operatively, and ultimately she went under this non-union. You can see the amount of instability that she has here with difficulty with all of her activities and pain because of it. So here we are doing this case, Ted Peters, myself, and our fellow here from Roanoke, Michaela McCarthy. We did this together. We used the Synthes non-locking set. That's all they had down there is the non-locking set. So we focused on technique and biology. We used iliac crest, used dual plating, and did a good high-quality compression technique. So here she is, obviously very pleased. The patients are typically followed in-country by local doctors, and we get feedback year after year about how they do. So here's a boy that has a congenital clasp thumb. You can see we did his right side last year with a thumb MCP fusion and a opponent's plasty, and he wanted to have the other side done. He was extremely pleased with his result here on the right, where we did the FDS opponent's plasty. He wanted to do the same thing, get the first web space deepened, get the thumb MCP fused, and then have an opponent's plasty. Here he is with our CRNA, Cindy Linenthal. He was very, very excited for his case that day. This is another case that me, Michaela, and Ted Peters, we all did together. You can see we're working here. We got that first web space deepened with a 2-flap Z-plasty, brought the thumb out, and got it fused at the MCP joint with pins, got the first web space deepened, and did the FDS opponent's plasty. Here he is in the recovery room with his mom. He was so excited. This is Thomas Lean, our PACU nurse that came with us from Roanoke. Last case we'll highlight is this 7-year-old who has multiple craniofacial anomalies, but also has radial longitudinal deficiencies. We did her left-sided pollicization back in 2020. Because of the pandemic, she wasn't able to come back for a couple years. She came back last year, and we wanted to do her pollicization on the right, but unfortunately, we didn't have the correct anesthesia equipment. So Cindy Linenthal, our CRNA, was able to bring it, and this year we did her right-sided pollicization. Sophie and her mother are thrilled to have had this done, and the mom and I have kept up via messaging and emails, and she sent me these videos of when her cast came off at 6 weeks post-op.
Muévela.
Special thanks to everyone who came on the trip. It's obviously a big team. There's a lot of support members. About half of our team's from Dallas. The other half is from Roanoke. Also want to make sure to thank the SSH and the AFSH for their support of our trip. Without the sort of support that you and the donors offer, we really wouldn't be able to do these sorts of trips. So thank you, and appreciate all the work that you support.